Shalom, everybody. I hope my voice is heard. I did not schedule like in advance this topic, but I said to myself, let me go for a short time to answer some of the weird comment I receive from time to time. Uh, always I have a problem with the Christians, and sometime I wonder if they are really Christians or satanic. And I will explain to you what I mean by that. This is a Christian guy, and he said he loved me. Don't take him wrong. Dear brother CP, your use of the P word, which means penis, V word, which is a vagina, is a problem for sanctified Christians. Oh, he is sanctified, not like me. I'm dirty. It's hard to share and watch your videos because over-sexualization, using too much dirty words will make you dirty. So he's saying to me, you are dirty. Filthy scumbag. I don't think the Holy Spirit will approve the way you use it. That's it. I'm condemned by the Holy Spirit. I love to learn from you. You want to learn from a dirty man. What an idiot. This idiot, he just said I'm dirty. The Holy Spirit don't approve me, and yet this donkey want to learn from me. Certified donkey. Are you allowed to learn from someone that the Holy Spirit don't approve his teaching, you donkey? Are you stupid or what? Let us continue. I love to learn from you so I can talk to Muslims in UK. When you read the Bible, you will see that the Bible uses words like went in. Oh, went in. No, to explain sexual activities. I love you. Don't make yourself dirty with this Islamic ethic. Those are the worst people I meet online. I am willing to go to war with Muslims. I'm willing to go in physical war. I went in war. I joined the USA Army. I've been in the army. I've been even in the police. But the worst ever enemy I have is those kind of Christians. If you ask this guy, he never made one Muslim leave Islam. But he give them hugs. He never used the P word. He never used the vagina word. Isn't it obvious that you are stupid and you are false Christian? If we go in the Bible, we will not find that word nowhere. Are you sure? Is the penis is a physical part of the human body, and you hear it everywhere. Even you go to school, you hear it. Even the teacher will say it to you. You take classes about it. Classes about the vagina with the drawing, and even they show it to you in pictures in the classroom. Your son see it, but I cannot say it for the sake to show Muslims that Islam is so dumb and so stupid and so filthy. So we should not use the word. Okay, I'm going to say to the Muslim, your God, he promised you endless penis. I should say endless peanut. How silly, how stupid you are. You see, the Bible forbid me from calling you Christian as a Christian stupid, but you are no Christian. You are an enemy of Christ. Satan is using you to make me feel guilty, so I will stop exposing the devil. Oh, don't describe what the devil say. Don't say it as it is. It looks so ugly. Don't say what Mohammed say exactly like that, because this is really disgusting. You stupid. This is the point. This is the point of what I'm doing, to show people how disgusting it is. I'm not exaggerating. I'm reading it as it is. Those are the worst of the worst of the worst. In fact, I believe strongly that in the Middle East, the Christian, they lost their land because people like this. When the Muslims occupy their land, The priest, they said to them, Christians, oh, Jesus command us not to go to war. Love your enemy. This is not what Jesus says, you coward. Jesus did not say, love your enemy. The one is coming to rape your wife. The one is coming to conquer you. The one is going to force you to leave Christianity. The enemy of Jesus is speaking about is somebody is your neighbor. Otherwise, we know that the Bible, the Old Testament God is the same as the New Testament God. Those false Christians are the reason for Christians losing their lands. They lost their teeth. They will quote for you day and night that Jesus says love your enemy, but they will never quote for you that Jesus says the one who don't have a sword, go and buy one. They will never. I never heard it actually in a church. They don't. It's like it's not exist in the Bible. And if one of them he read the verse for you about Jesus saying go buy a sword, they will say it's a metaphorical sword. Huh? The same as the Muslim now, they start duct tape and say stupid things. Because they are following the woke propaganda. The crusade are bad, the Christian who carry a sword is bad, and Jesus don't love him, which is the opposite. Jesus says the one who live by the sword shall die. What does that mean? That means the one who is attacking you by the sword, not only you. If you are defending yourself, you are not the one he's talking about. In the case of Peter, he attacked a soldier who is a policeman. He have no right to do so. So Jesus says to him, don't do that. Otherwise, Peter, he have a sword with him all the time. And Jesus, he is the one who told him to go and have a sword. And now we are not using a physical sword. We are using the most sharp sword you can imagine. The words, which is either the word of God or the word of the devil, because both are sharp. And both they make injuries. One, which is the word of God, will injure the devil and his followers. And one is the word of Satan, will injure the believers. So you, because you are a hypocrite, coward, liar, you don't like me to say words as it is, claiming that this is not right and that will make me dirty, when we know that this is not the purpose of this conversation. It's like when a teacher, he teach you science, and he teach you how the sperm is coming from. Does that make him dirty? The Holy Spirit don't approve that? You are so dummy and so stupid and so evil. Those are my enemies. I am here to save the Muslims. I don't fear them. But the most wicked, sneaky, is those who come to you in the clothes of a wolf, a sheep. But in reality, there is poison underneath. So he wanted to discredit me, make me look bad in the front of the Christians. What an evil person you are. If we ask ourselves, Christian Prince, you use the word vagina and penis, but how many Muslims left Islam because of what he say? A year, a month, a day. And you never use it, huh? How many Muslims left Islam because of not using it, never mention it? The Lord said, from their fruits you shall know them. So you are the same as a dry fig tree who never give a fruit. And you are making fun of a tree, the fruit is all over the place. Fake hypocrite. The Lord said to people like you, you will be cut off and thrown into hellfire. And I want you not to come here again. Never. Idiot. People like you are my enemy. And people like you are the enemy of God. We made me upset because we say things as it is, and the excuse is, oh, we should not use those words. What a stupid you are. You don't sugarcoat what Muhammad said, you donkey. Because if you do so, you are helping Islam. The only one will be happy to hear Christian Prince never using such a statement. Oh, your God, he promised you endless penis, huh? That is obviously stupid, funny, extreme statement of how false the God of Islam is. But you don't want me to use it. So who is the one who have the beneficiary of not to use it? Islam. You are the enemy of Jesus. You don't want the Muslim to see how stupid Islam is. You don't want to see the Christians how stupid Islam is. So if your son go to school and he say, Dad, I like Islam. I have a friend. He told me Islam is great. So what you will say to him? You will not say to him, Islam says, Muhammad says you will have endless penis. You will say to him, Muhammad says you will have endless macaroni. How stupid you are. How disgusting. I don't know what to say, but Christians make me angry. You know, this will remind me when I was in the Middle East. We go hiking, I have my gun with me. And those Christians, brother, why? Why you have a gun with you? We are Christians. Why you are having a gun with you? Each time I go with them, and I'm being so friendly to them. You know, I can shut them up. I'm not the person who can intimidate it. I'm not the person who can be bullied. All of you, you know that. And I say, it's okay, you know, I like it. You know, this is my business. You know, do you see it? Do you even see the gun? I don't show it, you know, I'm not showing, I have a gun with me, but nobody can see you. What's your problem? Oh, but we know, we can tell you have your gun with you. You know, we know that always you have your gun with you. Don't you have it with you? I said, yeah, I have it with me. What's your problem? Until one day, we were hiking, very dark, stormy weather, and then we start hearing the voices and the howl of the wolves. Suddenly, all those Christians, they said to me, you have your gun with you, right? I said, yeah, I have my gun with me, but I have only one bullet in it. They said, what? Why you carry a gun with one bullet? Suddenly the gun is good. Suddenly the gun is good. So as long they are relaxed, they school you. We should not have weapon. We should not defend. We should not fight. Jesus against violence, which is not, you know, Jesus against violence to be evil. Not violence to stop evil and violence. Suddenly all of them, and not only that, they hold me from I cannot even move my arms. You know, they came from my back because those wolves are coming. We start seeing their eyes. You know, the all kind of beast, they have a very shiny eyes at night. Like if the animal is eating grass, the eyes will be red. You know, if the animal is like a wolf, hyena, lion, tiger, the eyes will be shiny like diamond. You know, it's different color. So they were like holding me and says, you know, I said, I cannot even use my gun if they come to me. Just leave my hands and keep me a distance. So for years they make fun of me for taking my guns with me. And then next time we went hiking, the leader of the group, he said, he's like a, you know, he did a Bible study, you know. He's a very nice guy, actually. He said to me, you have your gun with you, right? I said, what are you asking? I said, no, it's better to have it. Hmm? They were making fun of me for years. And I was very patient with them. I'm not the person, you know, I have guns because I have guns. Because I'm a person, I mean, you know what does that mean? I'm the last one, somebody can tell me what to do. And I never insult them back. I never said to them, none of your business. I say, it's okay, you know, I like guns, you know, I like it. Don't look at it. Do you see it? I answer them in a very friendly way because I know where they are coming from. But after that incident, Each time I go, they say to me, you have a gun with you, right? I hope you brought enough bullets. I say, yeah, you know, usually I carry like 5, 6 magazines, not only one. Uh, and this is the example of Christians. We know if not the crusade, all of Europe will become Abdul long time ago. And then they slander the crusade. They are bad, they are evil. It is the crusade who gave you the freedom you have today. Otherwise, the Muslims, they have the biggest empire you can imagine. And the Turkish are waiting for the moment to invade Europe again, especially by the help of the Western. You know, they are arming them, you know, moving like technology sector into Turkey, into Qatar, into Saudi Arabia, because Western leaders, they love money and they worship money. So the invasion is going to happen again. The only way to fight the invasion without blood casualty is what we do. Because we can change the mind of Muslims and they can be very kind and nice people without war. This is why they fear those who expose Islam. Pakistan will not report a video of someone saying Jesus is God. But Pakistan keep reporting my channel. The government, I'm talking about the government, not people. Because they understand very well how dangerous to the existence of Islam what we say. If you open 1 billion channels speaking about how Jesus is beautiful and how nice he is, Muslims, they don't care. Yeah? They slander you every day and they fool the Christians. As long as you don't hurt the nerve and expose that they are lying and Islam is a scumbag, dirty, filthy pimp house, they have no problem. Because still they knew that you are not hurting Islam by only speaking about Jesus. Islam is based on attacking us, and we Christians and churches, we don't teach our kids how to refute Muslims. We pray for Muslims only, but we never mention how filthy Muhammad is. So your child go in the school, you go to university, your daughter, your wife, she go to work, she meet a friend, and so like, you know, co-worker, and they start saying to her Islam is wonderful, and your wife, she know nothing about Islam. She come back home, she is a Muslim, because you're a donkey. Because your priest is a donkey. Churches is not built just to worship. Who said that? Jesus, when he teach. He don't spend the day doing rituals. You do rituals. I am here because your false priests are not doing their job. This is not my job. This is not my job. I am not the one supposed to do this. Your priest, he got a salary. He got health insurance. He got respected. People call him father, even though the Bible says don't call anyone father. And you call me dirty. Unapproved by the Holy Spirit. So the real fighter is condemned. The sissy, the potato who do nothing, you call him father. And even some of you call him Holy Father. Holy. Look how big the word is. Oh, he never saw the word penis. He never said it. He must be holy then. So, very, very, very disgusting. I see those comments all the time, by the way. They are the most disgusting. When a Muslim, he insult me, like I wanted to pin this comment, but you know, YouTube don't allow me. It took my privilege, you know. I have to verify my ID to YouTube. So they are trying to lower my view. They do everything. And now I cannot even pin a comment in my channel. They want me to make a short video of myself with face or send them a picture of my ID. Can you believe it? So it's not enough I get a death threat from Muslims every day. It's not enough I'm fighting more than 1 billion coward. It's not enough that all the stress this garbage bring to me, staying for many hours. Like I'm sick. I stay for 6-7 hours. I stand up. My knee is hurting me. My feet is hurting me from not moving for 6 hours, 7 hours. Stay in one place, looking at the same screen, answering everybody. Do they appreciate that? No, you are dirty. The Holy Spirit don't approve you. That's it. The Christian, they send me to hell. For what? For spending 7-8 hours every day making Muslims leave Islam and doing my best to invite them to believe in Jesus. The Holy Spirit will not approve me. Very disgusting people. You see, Muslims don't make me angry. They don't. I know that they are wicked. I know that the wicked devil in control of them. And we try to save them. What make me angry is so fake Christians like you. I will not be surprised if you use the word which you deny more than anyone in the world. Because my experience in life, those who try to present themselves as holy people are the most filthy. I am always very careful with people who try to present themselves as holy. Like you see some Christian channels, the guy he is asking the Holy Spirit to open his mouth and his mind so he can teach and preach. Oh God, Lord Jesus, help me today. And now you decide to make this longest speech on the front of the camera. What about you do it before you go live? They do it in the front of the camera to make you believe that they are very decent. They are the men of God. They are holy. Not like Christian Prince. When the last time Christian Prince he started his live stream by prayer? He don't. He just say peace for those who love peace and no peace for the wicked, the Lord said. That's it. Shalom. No prayer. Or must be a bad person. You must be very, very bad. And then after we make a prayer, long prayer, then we ask you for donation. So may the Lord forgive you. And not to forget super chat. And not to forget to buy this from me. And order that from me. I will make a cartoon for you, put it in auction. I will put it in eBay. I will sell you a hat, have a Christian Prince name on it. A t-shirt. That will make me a nicer Christian, right? I should make a membership in YouTube. I should lock all my videos, make them private for the one who paid. I should make private videos only for those who have money. That will make me a good Christian. All the Christian channels, they do that. Private videos, privilege, members. It's a business. This is the truth. Am I lying? Go and find one Christian channel. Very popular. You see, actually, the one who don't do that, they are not popular. You have to be a businessman. You have to be a person who, like when the Messiah, he come to the temple, and he flipped their tables. He said, you made the house of my father a bazaar. They are bazaar people. Go fund me. I need to move out. I need to buy a car. Go fund me. Oh, the Muslim, they threat me. So I will be approved then when I use the emotion of Christians, robbing them, stealing their money, using fake excuses to make them feel for me and support me. I go live, I never mention donation. I go offline, I never mention donation. When the last time I mentioned donation? When the last time you remember I said, guys, don't forget to donate? Anyone can tell me? Many years ago, we tried to open a TV station. This is before YouTube, because there is no way to broadcast. YouTube came, so we asked people to help. Nobody helped. And now YouTube is doing the job. I do not need a TV station satellite. Yeah, it's easier. It's, I can go live anytime. At that time, it was impossible. You have to have a satellite. $18,000 at that time, at least the cost for one channel, one digital channel. I could not get the money to do it. We don't charge you. We don't ask you. We don't beg you. We don't lie to you. We don't use you. We don't use fund me, go fund me, give all kind of false excuse to make you feel bad for me and support me. People like the clowns who fool them. I told him in the comment, I don't want to see you here. I don't speak as people ask me to do so. I speak as I wish. I don't change. Do you know why Christians don't like to invite me to their channels? Not because only I don't like to go to their channels, which is true. But we don't fit. We don't fit. Most of them, they are businessmen. And they knew that. I criticize, people, many people, they were not even there, because they knew that this is, it's like, you are a Muslim, you criticize Mimi Blue Job. The other Muslims will attack you, says, this guy is defending Islam, why you are doing that? So you will lose. I criticize anybody. I say things as it is. I don't care who like it, who don't. Don't come here. Never donate to me. Never support me. I don't want you. I speak about the Pope. They say, oh, you are attacking Catholic. I cannot support you no more. I speak against the Protestant. They say to me, oh, you are attacking the Protestant now. You became Catholic. I'm sorry, I cannot donate for you no more. I speak about the Orthodox. You say, okay, now you show your real skin. So now you are attacking the Orthodox, huh? I speak against Netanyahu. Ah, you hate the Jews. Sorry, I cannot really. You hate Israel. You are, they don't want somebody to be truthful with them. You have to be hypocrite in this business if you want to make it as a business. If you don't want to make it a business, it's making everybody happy with you, then don't touch a sensitive topic. Say what people like to hear. Don't speak against the Pope. Don't speak against false Protestant priest defending Islam, or an Orthodox one. Don't do that. If you want to get the support of everybody, you need to keep your mouth shut. You stay mute. Otherwise, you will lose all of them. And I don't care. When I see something wrong, I say it. I'm not a car dealer who want to sell you a car has no engine, saying to you it's the fastest car in the country. I don't have much really to say except this, and they make me really upset. I mean, I wish one day like I can go like for a walk every day go in life, everybody go live, and this garbage make you exhausted. I can't even finish my books, and if I don't go live, I feel guilty. And look at the difference between Muslims and Christians. If you are a big fat liar and you defend Islam, all Muslims support you. All of them. They gang together. If you are a Christian who made tens of thousands of Muslims leave Islam, that doesn't count for the Christians or the majority of them. What count is silly stuff, as you see. Anyway, I don't know why even I'm angry. I should be used to this, it's like too many years and the same garbage again and again. And then just a little kid who never even made one Muslim leave Islam, he come to you and he school you about the Holy Spirit. I faced all kind of betrayal from Christians. All of them. All those their names famous, backstab me in my back. And they use me. They know that this guy is warrior. Let us use him. So if a Christian want to attack other Christian who said something bad, he contact me, like what David Wood and Sam Shamoun did. Contact me to wipe the floor with James White. Oh, look what he said. He said not all of Islam is terrorism. Whoever said that is a liar. Wipe the floor with him, please, brother. I go Christian Prince right away like a horse. He go live. He wiped the floor with James White, exposing his lies. 2 weeks after, they have dinner with him. And they say that to me in life. They say, hey, by the way, James White say hello to you. Like, what the heck? Isn't it this is the guy who lie and he make fabrication about Islam? How you go with him for a dinner? So now I am the enemy of this guy and you are his friends. So they use me to fight the guy. And they stay behind the curtain. They are his friends. This is the behavior of Muslims. False hypocrites. Tons of examples. If I mention to you how many Christians they betray me and they try to use me, you will not believe it. I call a TV station to refute a Muslim because those Christians could not answer. Do you know what one of them he said to me? He sent me an email. He says, stop calling the TV station. We know that you are doing that so you can get donation. Can you believe it? I was helping them. At that time, I don't even have Patreon. I never received a donation. The Muslim is beating the hell of them live on air. I called and I muted the guy. I silenced him. I buried him. What they do? They get upset because now they are not shiny. People, they notice there is someone else. He knew how to answer Muslims. So they said, oh, don't call the program again. We know why you are doing that, because you want to get the donation. And now you know that they are really after money. Shouldn't be happy. I did not say anything. People do not know who's talking. In the TV, they said the Christian with us. Go ahead, Christian, live on air, okay? Christian, start talking. Okay, I'm Christian. They don't even know Christian prayers. You know, they get so upset because I buried this Muslim sheikh live on air. So I struggle with those so-called Christians all the time. And this is why they gang together. Because they are from the same kind. I am alone. I have no friends of them. Because I never felt that I belong to those groups. You will see them all, they gang together, they bring each other, they go live together, they support each other, you know, they give hugs to each other. I am not in the image. Why? Because I don't fit there. I don't like them. I'm not like them. And I will never be. And you know, at the end, I do what I need to do. But usually, I don't open my heart, and it's like what I'm saying now. But, you know, sometimes you feel like that's it. Like, you know, you have too much to keep in the box. You have to let it go out. There is not too much difference between fake Christians and true Muslims. Because a true Muslim is a liar. True Muslim is a money worshipper. True Muslim, he defends Islam for the sake of vagina and penis and money. Fake Christian, he do exactly the same. He tried to present himself as a decent man. He tried to present himself that he is the most knowledgeable, even though they do not even know how to say the name of Muhammad correctly. They cannot even read one text correctly. And even when they debate Muslims, they fail. They are so good when they are just going live by themselves, bashing Islam. But the second a Muslim he called them, they crumble. The second you put them in the stage, they do not know what to say. And when you try to correct them in what they say, they try to make a mockery of you because they feel that they are being threatened. So, this is what I wanted to share with you. I hope I did not hurt the feeling of many. And if I did, so what? You know, if I hurt your feeling, that means either something wrong with me or something wrong with you. You choose one. Time will tell. Time will tell, you know. Any question, guys? Anything? I answer everybody question. If you go to the comment, please go check. Go check and see how much what I do consume of my time. I go read every comment. Go check. The only one I did not yet is just a new. Like, I know you woke up, you know, you have things to do. I check even like yesterday. I finished almost 2 a.m. in the morning. Right away, I start checking, answering, giving like, etc. I read everybody comment. I read everybody a chat. You know, you do not need to pay super chat to talk to me and get the answer. Those fake people, even to talk to them, to give them, to make them just see your text, you have to pay them. And that remind me of the verse in the Quran where Muhammad, he, you know, told the Muslim that Allah told him, if anyone would like to ask you in a private, let him pay before he talk to you. If you pay me, that will sanctify you. This is what they are doing. They are like Muhammad. They take your money and they call it a charity, and then you are poor and they are rich, and they make millions of dollars from this stupid internet. All of this in the Quran is supposedly charity. But in reality, we know that where the money is going to go. Any question for me? Yeah, exactly. You know, yesterday it was 2 a.m. in the morning. I was liking the comment, even, or respond if I could, if there is something I need to respond to. You know, there's one of you actually. He told me I stopped donating to this guy without saying his name. I said, why? He said, you know, like I asked him questions, he was rude to answer. So when they have a little donation, in the beginning they answer everybody, you know. Now when they become big, who care about your $10, you know? So they will ignore your question. They will mistreat you. They will mistreat you. If you go check now in Patreon, if I show you my email, if I say 99% of those who send me email is not the one who donate, they never donated a penny. And I answer every one of them. The only one I will not answer, if a female asking me, are you still single? Those will be blocked. If there is any one of you here ever send me an email and you don't donate to me in Patreon and I did not answer you, leave your comment. I challenge you to say yes. Refer us. Give us the link. Can you find the link, please? Brother, I want to find this. I saw it in the video. Even though I keep saying to them, you know, guys, this is too much because, you know, we go live, we stay for hours. I mean, just take it from there. Ask me when I'm live, because if I answer the same question, many will hear it, not only one. And you know, because English is not my first language, so typing is not comfortable for me. And sometimes you use the voice command of Google, and then Google, you know, don't understand you. You always, they miss your accent. You say number 6, they type 6. You say 6, it type 6, which is 6 as number. But I never, ignore people. I always answer them. They donate, they don't donate. I never even look at who they are. But as you see, I am not approved by the Holy Spirit. And then they start, spreading, lies, saying Christian Prince, you don't go to churches. You don't go to church. He's not a Christian. The Bible says you should go to the church. They do everything to put me down. And all of this because they knew that they are businessmen, and I am not. I worry about the gift and purchase of Boeing from Qatar. Well, I mean, those people worship money. What you can do. Yeah, and now Trump, he would defend it. Like, we should have the most nice airplane. Who's holding you? But now each time you ride this airplane, they will say this is Qatar airplane, not yours. You idiot. Money, money. You see, the problem is always money. They claim to be Christians. They claim to be good. They, make America great again. And then he built tower in Emirat. Why you don't invest your money? Build it in Hawaii. Build it in Florida. Build it. He want to bring investment to America, but he invests his money abroad. Anyway, I mean, just let it go. When it's come to people who they are, all those who work in politics, not people like us, those who seek position in politics, they are not going there to serve you, even though the appearance is to serve you. Even though they try to present themselves that they are heroes, they are there to defend you, but number one target is their personal interest. Stock market, like when you are in the Congress, you have very, very straight access to the stock market, information nobody knows except you. This is why those who they are in the Congress, they never lose when they invest, because they know in advance what will happen tomorrow. If two companies will merge, nobody hear about it, except they have to inform before anyone even know the Congress. This is why you see someone like Nancy Pelosi never lost one stock. She became a billionaire from a stock market. They will become 80 years old and they don't want to go. So all of them are the same. For us, we voted for Trump because at least he fight against the woke. But we know that he loved money. He loved gold. He loved silver. Him and his family. And the Arab, they understand very well that he is a money worshipper. So let us say they use each other, We pay him, he do for us what we need. As long as he don't give them something very dangerous, it's fine. I mean, what we can do. If he can, if he can get $400 from Qatar as a gift and he get them nothing in return, okay. But I believe what happened in this trip, that the scumbag of Qatar, he was preparing to ask Trump to lift the sanctions of Syria, and I mentioned that before, if you remember, in return of his airplane. The Saudi Crown Prince is a smarter, he outsmart Qatar. So he asked for that before he go to Qatar. So now the Qatari cannot say to the Syrian, we are the one who left the sanctions from you. Let us say they are competing, those Arab, they hate each other, Qatar hates Saudi Arabia, Saudi Arabia hate Emirat, Emirat hate Qatar, etc. So all those Arab, they stand together and they take photo, but they are the worst enemy of each other. Uh, and this is why I'm not really too much worried about it, because those Muslims are very much divided, and under the ashes there is a very strong fire. Very, very, they are the enemies. And Trump, he knew how to play them all. So there is negative, there is positive, and this is how the package come. You cannot choose. It's one package. Trump is a Trump. When you say Trump, mean money, business. Yeah. Trump Tower. They promise him to build a tower in Syria for him. Trump Tower in Syria. Even when he spoke about Gaza, he talked about his tower and his resort. Yeah. Trump is Trump. Here we go. I just mentioned it. Here we go. It's online. Well, he met with the terrorists of Syria, and he offered him to come to Syria and build his tower. Yeah, businessmen. They worship money. This guy, he killed many Americans. This guy is the head of Al-Qaeda in Syria. He attacked American in Iraq. He fought in Iraq. He was under ISIS. Then he split. Then he decided to make his own organization as a branches of Al-Qaeda. And now look, he is a friend of America. And Trump is hugging him. America. Welcome to America. Just give them money. Give them money and you will get all the honey you can imagine. Will the 600 billion investment bring Muslims? No, this is just money. You see, actually, those Muslims, Saudi Arabia, like Trump, he praised them about the improvement of Saudi Arabia, and the Crown Prince is building amazing things. In fact, is the opposite. Saudi Arabia is collapsing. After all the money they have and all the spending they have to make their country a civil country, they will never be a civil country, because the Saudi prince, he spoke about like he want to be like the same as Korea. He mentioned South Korea. I hate those stupid, noisy motorcycle, those, I don't know, the bicycle, motorcycle. They make noise. He said he want to make Saudi Arabia, his dream to make Saudi Arabia the same as South Korea. But we know that there is a huge difference between the Korean and the Saudi. Your money will not make the Saudi Korean. Those are very hard-working people and they are smart. So your money cannot do that. The Arab, they are people like to sit, drink coffee, gossip. They are not working people. They are the most lazy people in the world. I never saw lazy people as the Arab. You cannot change that. It's in your DNA. So they have money from the oil for now, and they are spending it in the wrong place. When those people, they spend a lot of money in USA and they call it investment, anytime they bother USA, they can confiscate the money. You see, investing in a foreign country is a very dangerous, especially if your country is the weak one and they are the strong. You say something wrong, you do something wrong, they can Take all the investment in one day. As simple as that. So Muslims investing in USA is not a problem for me. Actually, I like it because you can use their investment against them. As simple as that, you know. By their investment, they have to be good to you because they will be worried about their money. If they have no investment and they are not tied to you, they will not care much. You know, you get upset, you get happy, who cares? As long as you don't attack us, we are fine. But when all their money in your pocket, they cannot make you upset. For that is costly. Do you condemn the war in Iraq, killing millions? This is very stupid question, because the war in Iraq did not happen by the American. Iraq never stopped having war. And it was the Muslims who invited George Bush to attack Iraq. And it was Saddam Hussein who invited George Bush to attack him too, because he threatened to use nuclear weapon. Even though he don't have it, the idiot. He threatened to attack Israel, and later he did. So you blame everybody except yourself for killing millions. In fact, the war in Iraq finished in 24 hours. The total death in the first 24 hours did not exceed 40,000. The killing happened by Muslims, insurgent. Muslims killing Muslims, not by the American. So you are lying about even everything happened there then. All the war in Iraq, it's not the war the day of the war. American, they enter Iraq in less than 72 hours. They were in Baghdad. The Iraqi army collapsed. No war, no more. So why the war continue? Because the Muslims were killing Muslims. Shia killing Sunni, Sunni killing Shia, Sunni killing Kurdish, Kurdish killing Shia. So the ignorant people like you speak about the war in Iraq with ignorance. In fact, the stupid American, they spend more than $2 trillion building schools and hospitals in Iraq. This is how stupid they are. The same they did in Afghanistan. Dummy. They thought those people will appreciate them if they do that. So they wasted all this money and they get nothing from it. You know, you hear always stupid people say to you stupid stuff. Like, yeah, America killed millions of people in Iraq. False. It is you who killed them. All the death of Muslims in Muslim countries done by Muslims. All of it. Who was killing Muslims in Algeria? More than 1 million Algerians died. Muslims. Muslim killing Muslims. What about Libya? What about Somalia? What about Yemen? What about Syria? Shall we continue? Muslims. What about Lebanon? What lifting the sanctions on Syria mean to Israel? Well, obviously Trump, he by doing that he betray Israel, you know, because he did not put any conditions unless behind the doors there is something we do not know. So if we find later that Trump, he did like behind doors agree that the Syrian will sign a peace agreement with Israel in exchange for normalizing relationship with Syria, that will be great, you know. If it's done without any price, that will be stupid. And I believe there is something behind the scene we do not know, you know. So let us wait. We have to wait, you know. Like for us, we hear only from the news what's happening, and the news always is just you know, a sign. It's not really true. So he left the sanctions. It says he left the sanction. Did he leave them? No, it's not yet. It's not done. He's just saying we will leave the sanction, but they will meet and they will decide, and then he will lift the sanctions. So what they will talk about, we will see. I'm not. I'm sure the Americans are not stupid just to lift the sanctions for no price. You have to pay the price for it. All right. Anyway, you cannot. Israel should not depend on the protection or support of somebody else. Anyone who do that in the world is a stupid. He's a fool. Like, we have police in the town. Actually, they are very good police. You call them in 2 minutes, they will be here. Very good. But I have my guns. Because the 2 minutes the police arrive, or 5 minutes, will be enough for you to be dead. Right? So a smart individual or a group or countries should not depend on somebody else to protect them. That will be a very stupid thing to do. Like Taiwan now, depend in USA to protect them. But I believe Taiwan preparing themselves to stand for war alone. Because they can't trust the American. I mean, this guy Trump, he might say to them, okay, I'm not going to go to war with China for you. And I believe they will never do. I mean, who dare to go to war with China? That is not a joke. So the Taiwanese people, they are ready, preparing for the worst. Because anytime, the only problem for the Chinese now to invade Taiwan, that they knew there's a consequence, and this is about economy, not about military. They are willing to sacrifice 200,000 soldiers to die in the invasion. They will. They have the population. But they cannot sacrifice the economy disaster will happen after that. So, to deter the enemy from attacking you, you have to use all kind of tools is available for you to prevent that from happening. You arm yourself. You don't trust a friend. You make many friends. So if one of them, he betray you, the other one, maybe he will not. As the English, they say, don't put all your eggs in one basket. All right? Like what happened with the Ukrainian. The Ukrainian, they trusted the American. They signed a deal with America and Russia that we will give all our weapon, nuke, with the promise of USA and Russia protection. Did they protect them? No. Stupid government of Ukraine at that time. If they still have their nukes, Russia will never dare to attack. Because at that time they have nukes more than Russia. Most of the nukes of Soviet Union were stored in Ukraine, and many they are made in Ukraine. Big mistake. A very foolish decision, trusting the American. The Georgian, this is the same. A Georgian government who support USA, the American, they say, we are with you, yeah, stand against the Russian, we are with you. The Russian invade, nowhere to find the American president. They took half of Georgia in half day. You don't trust. And those Arab are the same now. They are trusting Trump to protect them. He will never. Not Trump. If Iran invades Saudi Arabia, Trump will not even fart. Especially if the Iranian, they say, we will keep your tower. Don't worry. You know what I mean? Like, when the Christians and the Alevite, they thought that, Putin will protect them in case of invasion by the terrorists in Syria. The terrorists are smart, and as you see, they are very successful with the help of Qatar and Turkey. They told Putin, don't worry, we will not take your bases. Your bases, you stay in your bases. Everything, nothing changed. Everything, nothing changed. So Putin, he said, well, who care? At least if those people, they come, the sanctions will be released, and then I will make more money from Syria. The previous president, he's under the sanctions of America. Nobody deal with him. Nobody buy from him. Nobody sell for him. Russia is not doing what we will do. I mean, the economy is frozen. Now the economy will start moving. So Putin, he will do better. He will buy their phosphate. He have his bases, nothing changed. So now we know why he did not move his army to destroy those terrorists. He can destroy them so easy. 3 or 4 airplanes, they can destroy all this, savage army, because they are just, they have no weapon, real weapon. But he was watching, because it's not his interest. They have a deal. Always there is a deal behind the scene. A deal you do not know. Can you talk about the book of Revelation and how it fits with what's happening today? I avoid to talk about the book of Revelation because I notice that people, they try always, some Christians, they try to do the same as Muslims. They take any event, and they try to make it, oh, the book of Revelation is speaking about this. And I believe this is, a very dishonest, just some people trying to get popular, trying to make a reputation of themselves that they know the Bible very well. So I can take now any event, happen, war, etc., and say, look, the book of Revelation says that. But we know that this is not true. The book of Revelation is not about those small events we see. It's speaking about something massive will happen. If you go in the details, you will see that this will be a severe situation, not what we see today. So don't mix things up and don't let people fool you. In fact, for me, when you see a Christian priest, he start talking about the judgment day is now, be ready, etc. Hold on. This guy is not really being honest with you. First, nobody knows when the day of judgment is. Secondly, based on the Bible, it's not. The situation is not what the Bible says. So they try to, I believe that the whole point of this is money. Like we scare you, so you gather to me, you get close to me, you seek refuge with me. I'm the priest who tell you what is going to happen. You find yourself, oh, you need the consultant. I'm the consultant. I'm the expert. So they put you in fear. We Christian, we do not believe in God because of fear. Even though the wise person is the one who fears the anger of God, for sure. But we don't believe because of fear. We believe in God because He's true God. And we know He's loving too. So be aware of those who try to bend any event and make it fit with verses. This is what the Muslims do. The Muslims, it became popular, the Big Bang. They say the Quran teach the Big Bang. So try to bend the text to make it fit with the Big Bang. Don't do what the Muslims do. All right? The book of Revelation, nobody can explain it until it happened. Until things that happen for real. And those will be a very big deal happening. Not Trump meeting with this guy. Not AI. All right? I hope I answered you. I have a word question about the word nikah. Many Muslims says it means marriage. You say it doesn't. Do you have any example in the Quran? We can show from the Quran and we can show from the Hadith. Supposedly I will go live for 15 minutes. I have to find a way to make my 15 minutes stay 15 minutes. All right. Read with me this verse in the Quran. If a man he divorce his wife, she will not be lawful for him until she do nikah to her husband. So if she married the guy, why she want to do nikah with the married man? If the word nikah mean marriage, unless she marry her husband. You know what I'm saying? If the word nikah mean marriage, so this verse here is saying until she marry her husband. But this is what it says, until she if her husband. All right. The translation here, it says not lawful for him, which means the previous husband who divorced her, until she married another. False translation. Married another husband. Married another husband. He's a husband. Why you call him husband? He's a husband already. How we got them busted that this is a false translation? Very easy. If we go to the hadith, you will see the story of a woman who her husband beat her until he made her her skin greener than her clothing. So what Muhammad he said to her here, the woman now she married the second husband. She is married to the second husband, but she didn't want to sleep with him. So Muhammad said to her, if your target to remarry Rifa, which is the previous husband, this is not lawful for you unless Abdul Rahman, the new husband, if you do nikah. So do you understand now what I'm saying? So the verse in the Quran saying she is not lawful for him until she do nikah to the new husband. Not remarry new husband or marry new husband. No. Until if she's like this woman now, she is married a new husband. But she did not sleep with him. Muhammad saying to her, you cannot go back to your previous husband unless this husband, he's her husband already, do nikah to you. All right. And even Muhammad he used the word taste your juice, taste your semen, and you taste his semen. The Muslim will translate it as intercourse, which is not really true. It is intercourse, yes, but they don't want to use the real words in Arabic, which says you taste his semen and he tastes your semen, your juice. In Arabic here it says حتى يذوق من عسيلتك, and you taste his عسيلته. So you taste his juice, he tastes your juice, and then and only then you are lawful to the previous husband. So this verse here in the first translation they are saying something not true. Until she married another husband, no. Until she if the new husband. If you change the translator, you will see every Muslim he give you different translation, which is obviously proving that they are just fraud. They are trying to duct tape the Quran. If he divorces her finally, she will not be lawful to him after that until she marry another husband. Fast translation again. Until she, if he's a husband, what marry husband? He is husband. What marry another husband? And the story here for you is a clear evidence of what it says. This woman, she thought, if she marry a husband, okay, she's married. Now she will cause him trouble without sleeping with him. He would divorce her. She go back to her husband. No, you cannot do that, Muhammad told her, because the Quran says it clearly, unless he if you, tankah, unless she been if by him, not marry him only. Now she is married to the new husband, but she is not have sex. So what is the condition in the chapter here to be able to go back to the previous husband? To be effed, not only to be married. Married alone is not enough. And this is the proof. So you can take this reference for the Abdul and get them busted. All right? I hope I answered you. Good? And then there is many, like, Muhammad, he said, when women have menstruation, do with them everything you want except nikah. Do everything except what? Nikah. So is nikah married? This is, she's your wife. Sorry, again, I had to cough. I'm not done with this, sickness, so I'm coughing. So as you see, when your wives, she have menstruation, do with them everything except nikah. The translation for nikah is here what? Sexual intercourse. What the word in Arabic? Nikah. Isna'u kulla shay illa nikah. Do everything except nikah. If we check what Google translation, the translation is not really correct, because it's not fornication, it's effing. Because effing have nothing to do with fornication. It can be your wife, So they lie. And I'm here to buzz them with their lies. Alright guys, I think it's time for me to go. Otherwise I will stay for the coming 6-7 hours, God knows. I'm not going to keep this video maybe, but I just want to share with you how those Christians really, they don't help. In fact, they are helping Islam against us. I remember once an Orthodox bishop, a very nice man actually, he's a very nice man, a very old man, I respect him. He said to me, let me ask you what you get from this, talking about what I do, exposing Islam. He's very old. He's a retired bishop. What you get from this? I said, how many Muslims left Islam during your lifetime? He said, none. I said, ask me the same question. He put his eyes on the ground and he shook his head. So he spent his life as a bishop. He's a nice man, but he never made one Muslim leave Islam. Not only not accept Christianity, not leave Islam. Not even one. And he was honest about it. Never, none. I said, ask me the same question. So even decent Christians, sometimes they try to stop you from doing the right thing because they are not thinking right. For him, and being troublemaker. Why you are doing this? And instead of saying to me, son, I bless you, God bless you, really, you're doing a great job. No. So you find yourself enemy to Muslims, enemy to Christians, enemy to the Jews, enemy to the atheists, enemy to the Buddhists, enemy to everybody. And I believe when there is too many enemies, and all of them, they cannot be in the right side because they're not even in the same right side. I mean, they are not even in the side of each other. But all of them, they unite against you. Obviously, you have something very unique. To make the atheist and the Muslims and the Buddhist and the Jews and the Catholic and the Protestant and the Orthodox go against you. They are totally the opposite of each other. How in the world they unite? The devil, he will try to unite all forces against you. He will use even the good ones. So when I mention Catholic, Protestant, Orthodox, the devil, he will try to use even the good ones of us to fight us. He will use their voice and their reasoning to make you feel guilty. You are not a good person. You are not doing the right thing. You better stop. The more you do those things, the more they will be upset. And this is exactly what we witnessed today here. This man, he claimed to be a wonderful Christian, but he just called me dirty. He just said the Holy Spirit don't approve what I do. He just said, you know, you cannot, you know, he is sanctified Christian, and obviously I'm not. I mean, all kind of insult in a very smooth, nice sentence. He showered you with shame. And that's why I say those are the most dangerous Christians. Because their purpose of those comments to make you look bad in the front of the Christians, so nobody will listen to you and nobody will like what you are doing. You will be alone. And I say, I am alone all the time. I know there's many people really, they love what I do and they support me and I appreciate them. But as I said before, I trust only my Lord, even when I am alone. I don't depend on others. I depend on my Lord and my faith to be strong. Then whoever want to go and say, okay, we are with you, you want to be a crusade, well, God bless them. But I will not depend on anyone, because I learned through my life, you cannot trust any save the Lord. Don't even trust me. You see me? Don't trust me. Men, they change. The devil is real. The devil is real. And the devil is powerful. And one day, a man, he can be wise. A second day, he can be a fool. And the devil will find a window to get inside him. And we as a human, we have many windows. We have greed, money, sex, too many windows. You close one, he open one. You close two, he open three. So a true believer, always he will struggle, and he will have a lot of enemies and a lot of jealousy. The only way to go along with those group of people is to bend down and become a businessman like them. Politically correct. And most of Christians who say they are not politically correct, they are. They are very much politically correct. That's why they stay away from a sensitive topic. They will never dare to talk about it. So they say, okay, we will talk only about Islam. This topic is not good for us. We cannot. If we talk about it, we will lose donators. They cannot risk losing one donation, because this is the whole purpose of them being online. It's not God. If you take the donation and super chat and buy and sell from their accounts, they will never come online. Yesterday, before I go live, I went to TikTok. I said, let me make, if there's an option to post that I'm live. It turned to be there's no such a thing to post, you know, like you can post only video. And right away, a very filthy video in front of me. I flipped the second video. It's the same garbage. A woman, she is sitting on in the sport machine, wearing her panty, opening her legs with the machine. Few second video. Do you think they are doing it just for that? No, they want to make money. They are trash. They are the junk. And this TikTok is the junk. I hate this program. The most filthy place ever. Very filthy. I warn you. If you have kids, don't ever let them get into TikTok. If I open TikTok for you now, you will be scared. It's so disgusting. Very disgusting. Very sexual. Very filthy. Pervert. And dangerous. Never, ever give your children's into TikTok. We thought Trump, he will ban it, but this guy, he love money as usual. They offer him money. Okay, we will keep it. TikTok was devil yesterday. It's his holy today. All right, maybe we'll keep it until tomorrow. Well, good, it's banned in your country. The funny, those programs are banned in China too. You know, China allow bad program only in foreign lands. They don't allow those things in their country. You know, they have a very much control of what is posted in their country. When I was in China, I could not even open Gmail account. The first thing happened when I went to the airport. The guy in the customs, he asked me, I think, where I'm going to stay, something. So I wanted to open my Gmail in the airport. And it doesn't work. You can't open Gmail in China. All programs, those chat programs, they don't work. Like apps, they don't. The only one they allow is WeChat, which is a Chinese. The government, they can read all your text. It's called WeChat. I could not open Gmail. I can't even text. They said download the WeChat and try to get the address. TikTok is not a place for children, not a place for adult. Stay away from it. If I open it for you right now, you can see. You want me to open it? I can. Very disgusting. I was leaving supposedly. What happened? Guys, I just opened. I don't know how to say it because I'm signing in different browser. Yeah, a girl is wearing very, very, very filthy clothes and she is dancing in the supermarket. I just open it, just click, the main page.
Excuse me, sir.
Other guy, the guy he wanna cut your grass. Those are two people fighting.
Oh, sleepy.
They're
Watch myself at.
garbage.
On the way.
So Donald Trump died.
If your free speech is
Oh boy. Don't go
I
there.
just think it's funny that.
More stupid. Naked women in the casino.
but this is the
Those are singing for Palestine.
So Donald Trump.
I gave my house.
Okay. Anyway, I mean, it's just a stupid program. It's a waste of time. It is not useful, and it's used by people who want to make money. And if you are just a person who go to watch, you are a fool. Watch things. It can be useful, educational. There's a purpose of them. Let me close it. Very filthy. Actually, today I was lucky. I did not see what I saw yesterday. Yesterday, right away, I open it. I mean, it's very, very filthy. Very, very filthy. Yeah, so never give your children's. In fact, I advise you not to give them a phone. If you give them a phone, give them the one which have only text, like the old ones, no internet. You know what I mean? Let us say your son go to school, you want to pick him up, you want to be sure he's okay. So you can buy him those old phones which have the pad for numbers only and text, but no camera, no internet, nothing, you know? A basic phone so he can call in case of emergency, or your daughter, but not internet. All right? And don't trust that, okay, I'm going to put a proxy, or let's say I will control the phone, install software so he can open this website. He cannot. There's many ways those kids can do it. They will learn from each other. Always there is software can open for you anything. Right? You know that. So don't trust that I can protect my children by allowing him options in the phone. Still, he can find a way to overwrite what you designed. All right. You know, like actually, the first time I got a phone, cell phone, it was a huge. Let me see if I can find you the oldest phone I think it was called Ericsson. With big antenna. It weighed like half kilo or 1 kilo. Yeah, here we go. The one I used to have is the one like you open. It's a very, very funny setup, you know. When I came to the state and I have a cell phone, in the America nobody have cell phone. They said to me, why you are carrying it? What for? You know? Why you, what for? You know? I was surprised that Americans don't use it. Yeah, it was like this one. You see this one here, but it was way bigger. This one is small. It was a huge, massive. Until now I cannot find it. Yeah, it was like one of the oldest, really, very, very old phone. Heavy duty, mostly like this. Yeah, mostly is close to this one. Very, very heavy. It's big. And then things get better, and then we got those. You can take a picture, but the picture quality is very bad. Yeah. All right. I think we have enough for now. The brick phone was wonderful. Actually, you know that the image I posted for the thumbnail is done by my phone. You know, it come with this Jimny, you know. So you ask it to make an image, it make an image for free. You don't even need to pay. As long as you don't say something against their guideline, they can make an image for you. Yeah. So you know the phone today became like your computer. You know, you can send email, receive email, read books. You know, I mean, there's a huge difference between this phone in the old days. But what I'm saying, if you have kids, they do not need any of those phones. Give them just a phone to call you. Let us say your son is young. You are not sure what time he will be done with the school, or he went to, you know, with his friends. You want to check on him when he is away. You know, you give him a phone just to make a phone call, text message. Don't give them any phone having access to the internet. Otherwise, you know, you will you are putting them at risk. And you know what is in the internet, all kind of pervert and filthy, and you know. Yeah. There's people, they go in TikTok and, you know, just to hunt for children's. A young child, you know, you speak to them friendly, you look so nice. Can you take a picture of yourself in the bathroom? You know, all kind of pervert, you know. Like, and the authority, they try to stop those people, but I mean, there's millions of those people. If they arrest every day 50, I assure you there's 50,000 new every day. A lot of pervert. So it doesn't matter how much the government they try to arrest of those, they are all over the place. All right, it's time for me to go. I hope you have a good time. And again, please guys, if anyone don't like the way I talk, don't come here. Just don't bother yourself and watch my videos, because they are not good for you. All right? Don't give me speeches. Go and do better. You are the good Christian, and don't watch my videos. And don't tell me after you insult me all this insult, I love you. You don't. You are trying to put shame on me. That is a very satanic, sneaky way to insult somebody. Don't make yourself dirty with these Islamic ethics. Very stupid. That will make me dirty if I am practicing their ethic, you idiot. Not exposing their false ethic. How that will make me dirty? So be aware of false Christians who try to stop you. They come to you sneaky way, in a clothes of a sheep, but their words is poisonous and evil. God bless you, and until we see you soon again. God is good. So is Jesus. And we are the crusade. Amen.